Welcome to Linkronicity, with your journey and destiny link. I'm Stacey Kumagari, Linkologist, and I'm here to help you link your life. How are you, lovely souls? We're back. We're back for the Inner Healing Series 2.0, Part 3. Can you believe it? I didn't believe it either, but when I got the download, I realized that, well, I guess the series is going to continue. So here we are, part 3. And for those of you who are just now joining us who didn't get to see part 1 or part 2, I'm going to do a quick review, not just to catch you up, but because I have to in order for you to understand how part 3 actually links together with everything that we're going through right now. So for those of you who missed it, I will put the links below, so don't worry about the whole thing. You can go back and watch those later and catch up. But quick review, recap, here we go. Part 1 of Inner Healing Series 2.0 was all about happiness. It was all about happiness, and it was all about dealing with our own soul's growth, and it was all about dealing with our gratitude 2.0. Next level of it. And for those of you who missed part 2 was really all about stepping into utilizing our empathy and our compassion, eliminating worry, overcoming adversity, and linking those 3 links together, 2.0, with your new expanded consciousness awareness. So we've dealt with part 1 as our foundation, happiness, soul growth, gratitude. Part 2, worry, adversity, empathy, compassion. What's part 3? Part 3 is going to be about indecision, perseverance, and friendship. Indecision, perseverance, and friendship. And you may be thinking, that's kind of left field, but that's the point. That's the point why when I channeled the messages, I'm like, what does this have to do with all of it? Well, you'll see through this series of what we're going to be doing what that's all about. So for those of you who are new, go grab a pen and a pad of paper or an electronic device, however you take notes. For those of you who are already familiar with it, I'm sure you're already prepped. You've got your whole station set up to take your journal prompts. We're going to be doing journal prompts today, and then we're going to be addressing just a couple of different chakras specifically. In series 2, last video, we actually did the soul star chakra and the earth star chakra. Well, today we're going to actually be dealing with the heart and the higher heart, which is the pink and the green energies of the heart. And that's going to actually connect to the next chakra, which is our crown chakra. So we're going to be doing a little more of the head and the heart healing, unification, next level ascension stuff. So stick with it because it'll be good if you stick to the end. We're going to be going through that in a meditation together. So let's get started. Let's get started on indecision. Journal prompt. I have been most indecisive when ... And now you get to fill in that blank. When are you most indecisive? When are you most indecisive? Better yet, when do you use your intuition to make decisions? When do you do that? When do you check yourself? For a lot of us who are in an indecisive place, which is technically, the 2 swords, of indecision, how do you know to pick one or the other, right? If you're at a crossroads. Your intuition can help you with that. Your indecision really is prompting you to not just take action, but it's also asking you to reflect. So there's a lot of yin and yang energies in indecision, believe it or not. The yang, aggressive energy versus the passive yin energy for contemplation. It's purposeful. So as you write down your journal prompt of when you've been indecisive, ... and when you've used your intuition to be decisive, showing these two contrast examples to yourself is important, because when you see what the difference is, no longer do you have the two swords of indecision or the crossroads. You realize in your soul there is a decision that's going to resonate with who you truly, authentically are, versus one that you're gravitating toward out of fear. Yeah. Now, you may not have thought fear takes place into this, but it does. It does. And if you're still combating that, then you know you still have fear work to do, which I've got a video for that somewhere in here. And if you go back to the Inner Healing Series 1.0 back in 2019, you'll see that we've addressed fear in a variety of different ways. Because fear technically isn't real, it's more of a trigger, right? For a PTSD situation, or a projected idea of the, oh, what if, in the negative aspect. So looking at your decisiveness and your indecision, and looking at the contrast and figuring out where your energy is in that is important as we ascend 2.0 for inner healing. Because if the fear part isn't healed, you need to go back and heal that. But more importantly, because we've been through this pandemic in the last 2 years, we've had to face a lot of fears, right? We had to face a lot of the unknowns. So if your fear is sitting in the unknown, or your fear is sitting in the void, we are now looking at ways proactively where we can deal with this energy in the best light for your best life, because you're looking at it now with fresh eyes, seeing the contrast of your decisiveness through your intuition and your indecision, where you're paralyzed by the fear that's causing the indecision. So I'm going to ask you, lovely souls, what are you afraid of? I mean, we've been through a lot in the last 2 years. What are you afraid of now? And how do you transmute that energy into something positive? How do you take that fear-based place into something proactive that you can do for yourself to deal with these fear-based energies, which is causing the ripple effect of the indecisiveness? So put a bookmarker there, because I'm going to take you back to part 1 and part 2 of this Inner Healing Series 2.0. If the fear is there, let's go back to our foundation of happiness. Does that create a roadblock to your happiness? If the indecision is there, the fear is there, does that stunt your soul growth? If the fear and the indecision is there, doesn't that limit your gratitude? What if we were to turn that around and take the gratitude back and be thankful for the fear, because it's pushing you into a place of decision. It's pushing you back into the place of utilizing your intuition. So guess what? We've just eliminated it. We've just eliminated the fear through that. If we go back to part 2 of this Inner Healing Series 2.0, we're looking at having empathy and compassion for ourselves, for having the fear that caused the worry, that caused the adversity and the challenge of indecision. See how that links together? This is why this is coming in this weird order that I couldn't have even imagined, but the divine is telling me to share this. So if we turn this around and look at it and thank it and have gratitude for it, we've eliminated that, and ultimately eliminated the two swords, because there's only one now, and that one is charging forward with our all-knowing, creating happiness, creating soul growth, expansion awareness, because we're no longer fearful, creating the gratitude for it, thank you, fear, creating the compassion and empathy. I understand why this is here, and I forgive myself for having the fear, and I forgive the situation of pointing fingers of blame at the fear, right? And then it's no longer an adversity challenge thing. I've conquered it. conquered the fear, and I'm not going to worry about it anymore because it doesn't change the outcome of it. And now I already know that fear can be a positive thing. Okay. Next journal prompt. Next journal prompt is about perseverance. You know you can do anything that you set your mind to. You know it. In your heart of hearts, and your gut, and your mind, all soul knowing, you know you can do anything you set your mind to. You've overcome a lot of challenges before. You've overcome adversity before. You've overcome worry and fear and indecision before. You have embraced new happiness of what is possible because you overcame whatever was making you unhappy. You took your power back. You became responsible for creating your own happiness. You had compassion for yourself. You were persistent with that. The more persistent we are with our compassion and our empathy, that radiates like, out of the wheel and radiates like a ripple effect, a pay it forward effect, a give back effect, which then raises the collective consciousness, as we learned back in part 2 of Inner Healing Series part 2, right? Because we've connected our soul star chakra and our earth star chakra. We've brought that together in alignment. So you can now persevere with this new set of tools that you've earned through the pandemic and move forward. Move forward. There's no wrong move in that. You can't fail because you're trying, right? We know that from a very intellectual space, a pedestrian space. We understand that from a very logical place in the human 3D existence. But what our soul knows is something even bigger. Our soul knows something that's larger than the sum and larger than what we see. And seeing that perseverance isn't just about survival, it's about thriving, right? So you're not just here to survive, you're here to thrive. And if we embrace that mentality of we're not just here to survive, we're here to thrive, we're now looking at this from an amicable place and we're becoming friends with it. And that's the third thing we're talking about today, which is friendship. So the journal prompt for this, I want this to work together, the next journal prompt to work with perseverance and friendship is, when have you persevered and when did you accept and become friends with the energy to pursue and go for it anyway? When have you persevered? And when did you become friends, with this amicable energy of realizing that you were going to pursue something anyway and not be attached to the outcome? We can project a lot of fear and worry and indecision on something which actually paralyzes us from making a decision when we are already projecting the outcome of the negative speak of, oh, what if it doesn't go blah, 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 or what if it doesn't happen this way, or blah, because you're trying to control. Again, we're going back to the ego pride thing. If you remove your ego and you remove your pride from the outcome of it, there's nothing to fear. You've made your decision. You're persevering anyway through the decision. You're becoming friends with the energy. So the outcome can only be good because that's where you're putting your energy. And even if it doesn't happen exactly the way you expect, which you should be removing expectation anyway, because you're not attached to the outcome, then you're actually being open to what's possible. Going back to part 2 of I am possible, turning impossible into I am possible, right? So nothing you can do is actually failure because you're actually attempting to try. You would be in a worse position if you what if the situation, which would further leave you in a place of indecision because you didn't persevere to conquer the what ifs to know one way or another anyway, right? That's exactly how that works together. So in this journal prompt of figuring out when you persevered and when you became friends with the energy, The next journal prompt I'm going to ask you is, how did you know the positive outcome would be learning? How did you know the positive outcome would be learning by being friends with this energy? When you gain perspective on that place, the timing, when, like the beginning, taking the leap, going through and persevering, okay? There's different stages of a situation when you make that decision. And there's different stages of the situation when you choose to persevere. So when you become friends with the energy, when are you feeling most favorable about the energy? Knowing that it's working for you, not against you. When do you recognize that? Your key to what you write in your journal prompt is going to tell you a lot. So if you're friends with it in the beginning, that means you've already surrendered. If you're not friends with it until the middle, until you're feeling momentum, then that just means you're needing support and encouragement, which you can ask for. Friends, family, colleagues, neighbors, anybody, right? You can ask for support to push you through. So that way next time you are friends with the energy at the beginning. And when you're friends with the energy at the beginning, you build momentum. What happens when we build momentum? We build momentum, we're ascending and momentum's building and building and building and building, and we're growing and growing and growing, and we're raising the collective consciousness, we're raising the vibration, we're raising our own vibration, we're raising the potential of the positive energy to keep flowing through us and swirling about us and pulling us through a situation for the optimum results. That's how that works together. That's how that links together, lovely souls. So take a good look at your answers from these journal prompts. It's going to be key for you to understanding where you can make that tweak. So again, if you have the friendship, amicable energy with your persevering choice of making the decision to pursue something and move forward, if you have it in the beginning, you're good to go. If you have it in the middle, it's an ask. It's an ask. And the ask is, can I have some support, from your community, from your family, your circle, right? And if you do that and you have the courage to ask for that, nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you. And that's how you work through indecision and how you continue to persevere and how you then become friends with the energy for your highest, greatest good. And it's beautiful. And it works from there. So this final piece is we're going to be looking at our heart and our mind again, but looking at it from the 2.0 place. I was downloading in meditation that we have to look at birth and rebirth in the new beginning as an opportunity, and look at the death of something as an ending to open the door to the new opportunity. But we must remove the labels. We can't be put in the confines of all these finites. Instead, we need to look at it as a process. So for us to really truly ascend and gain the higher wisdom and the higher next level 2.0 energy, and to expand our collective consciousness and to raise the awareness and the vision even further, in order to do that, we need to remove the labels of that. And instead look at it as purposeful energy. I mean, we know in our mind, right, that there's endings and beginnings. But if we just look at it as a blended thing in the blender, it's the journey and it's the process. We're not going to be putting so many anticipated expectations, already labeling it where it can go. And when we release that, we have more freedom in our heart. So right now, I want us to focus on our chakras. I want you to close your eyes and look at your heart energy, which is green. and your higher heart energy, which is pink. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then I want you to focus on your head, which is your purple crown chakra energy, top of your head. And I want you to literally blend that now, the idea of endings and beginnings, knowing that the head and the heart really know no endings and beginnings, and blend the head and the heart energy together with the purple and the pink and the green energy together, and bring the mind and the heart into unison. And say this affirmation. My mind and my heart energy are connected as one. My mind and my heart energy are connected as one. My mind and my heart energy are connected as one. And with this connection, I heal to the next level. With this connection, I heal to the next level. With this connection, I heal to the next level. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Now rub your hands together. Put your left hand over your heart and your right hand on top of it. Feel the heart energy. Both hands on the top of your head. Feel your mind's energy. And now picture it blurring lines where it is one. It is one. It's become part of you now. And in your all-knowing of it becoming part of you now understand there is no more indecision. When you make a decision from when your head and your heart space are connected as one, there's only one truth. You've united with your mind, body, soul, spirit, health, well-being, and it's one. The four pillars are together. Your head and your heart are one. It's together. And in the 2.0 level of your expanded awareness consciousness with happiness and soul growth and gratitude for your head and your heart. Knowing that happiness is not just a mental state of mind and a state of heart and being, knowing that your soul growth is part of the human experience, yes, but it is higher ascended learning and acceptance. And knowing that your gratitude comes from the two places united, more powerful as one. Series part 1. Part 2, we look at the empathy and the compassion with the forgiveness of all of the negative energies which put us in those other places, which we had to overcome. And we're having the empathy and compassion to understand that the place of adversity and worry were for our highest, greatest good to help us ascend and learn and grow. And we say thank you, again, returning to the next level of gratitude, right? And now as we look at the indecision place, and thank you indecision, thank you fear, for helping me persevere to the place where I now have no option but to be friends and dance in this amicable energy of taking that forward at the beginning of every endeavor. I now have the power to use the positive energy for my highest and greatest good with my head and heart all knowing. 2.0. See how that all links together, lovely souls? So go back and read your journal prompts. Ask yourself what you've learned from this process. If you have to rewatch Inner Healing Series 2.0 Part 1 and 2, please do so and connect it all again. And you'll see with your own eyes, you'll be witness to it yourself, that all of the energy is truly, essentially, for your ascension and transformation and change for the highest and greatest good. I'm Stacey Kumagar, your Linkologist, here to help you link your life. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Linkronicity, blogspot.com, and go to Linkronicity.com for private coaching sessions. I'm offering 30-minute free consultations to help you take this to the next level for your personal, unique journey. And then you can book a session with me and we can do some one-on-one virtual exchanges and have you take this so you can move forward with perseverance, without fear or worry, with friendship for your amicable energy you now feel for your happiness, soul growth, and gratitude, overcoming your own adversity, removing your fear, and looking at worry as something that is an energy that doesn't serve you, and looking at this as a place where you can actually embrace your new future, embrace the possibilities, and continue to be grateful for the opportunity to open new doors to what's next. I'm sending you light and love, lovely souls. I hope you have a beautiful, blessed day. Sending you so much gratitude from my heart to yours, and hope that you are finding this inner healing series really helpful for where you're going next. I know it's going to be beautiful. We're going to make that happen together. So be gentle with yourself, be gentle with each other, be gentle as you continue to go through this inner healing series 2.0, and marvel at what you're learning about yourself in the process. Have a beautiful day.